Yeah, welcome to my channel. Not a good day for a New York Knicks fan. Um, I think you've seen my other prior channels. I pretty much said like coming out of this third game, basically, if the Knicks can win this third game, um, they would have a most likely shot of winning the playoffs. Um, Butler coming back. Question is, what would they do with Butler? Because the fact is after game two, without Butler, the Heat kept it close, and with Butler coming back, I don't know what the Knicks would do. If they can contain him, that'd be great. But it looks like couldn't. They couldn't. Um, Granted, it was in Miami, but they were all over the board. And we can't blame it on travel because the thing is, they had an extra day. They literally had an extra day, which also gave time for Butler to recover as well too. Um, it's one of those things where I don't think this is a game that the Knicks should have played lackadaisical. Quite honestly, I mean things weren't coming down. Basically, there was a comment during the game itself. Well, Hubie Brown, it said basically. I mean, it was one of those things where he kind of hit it on the point where like they were down 12, but it felt like they were down by 25, which turned out to be almost practically the case in a ways. But the thing was, even though they were down 12, he said, "Well, look, it's as Knicks fans, we should be too worried because like the shots will fall. The shots won't fall. Specifically, if the type of shots that they're taking, they won't fall. I mean, honestly, the field goal percentage itself was like, the Knicks were 31 out of 91. I mean, granted, yeah, the Heat were 35 out of 90, but from a field goal percentage, I mean, 34%, 34%. That's not that great. And the worst part about it was the three pointers, 8 out of 40. 40 attempts, only 8 were given. I mean, quite honestly, that was not something that they should be doing at that point. Should be going for um, like 20%. It's 20%. I mean, granted, Miami didn't have as much as well too. Like their free throw percentage was not as great. I mean, not free throw, but 3 point percentage was not as great as well as their field goal percentage. But at the same time, it's a little troubling. Free throw wise as well too. Same thing was a big factor as well too. I mean, with the Heat, they hit 90%, while the Knicks about 72%. Um, Turnovers themselves. I mean, like it's 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 hard to tell because like the Heat had more turnovers than the Knicks by one, but the Knicks couldn't like do anything with it. And the biggest thing that was the factor for the Heat, points in the paint, 50 to 36, 50 to 36 points in the paint. That was one of the things the Knicks could not do. Basically, they were just going for these 3 pointers, for whatever reason. I mean, honestly, it was one of those things where the 3 pointers were not knocking down. That's the sad part about it. They were not coming down for them, and it's a little surprising. I mean, honestly, I Randall, um, having just I don't know what he had exactly. Give me a second here. I think he was 0 for 5, 5 attempts on the 3 point line, and he pretty much sucked. Um, that was one thing right there alone. It was 0 for 5. I mean, when he was taking that 3 point, when I saw him taking those 3 point shots, when the Knicks were taking those 3 point shots, I'm like, no, no. I mean, honestly, there was even a shot where Barrett took a three for no reason when there was an open lane to the basket, and he didn't do that. It made no sense, quite honestly, why that happened. Um, the same thing with Brunson. I mean, I hate to say it, Brunson also, 0 for 5 as well too with the 3 point line. Barrett, yeah, granted he 2 for 7, and Josh Hart 2 for 6. Mitch Robinson, of course, didn't. I mean, out of all, Mitch Robinson sadly only had 2 points, which was a real surprise. The high score at that point was really Brunson with 20 points. Randall and Barrett were held under 15 points. Randall, of course, 10 points, and Barrett 14. Hart 15 points, and quickly 8 shots, 8 attempts on 3 point line, and he only got 2 of them. I mean, honestly, that I don't know if that was a good idea as well, too. Quite honestly, I think they were just taking too many 3 pointers at that point, to the point where like they had some of these open baskets. Barrett not utilizing skill to driving into the lane. Brunson was every now and then, but the thing was Brunson was taking those shots too, and like I didn't think he needed to. Granted, I could say I can understand the defense was really strong, but at the same time, this is something where it it shouldn't have happened. Basically, they shouldn't have taken that many threes. I mean, if it wasn't dropping, it wasn't dropping. Go for the easy baskets. There were some like literally some open lanes for them, and they chose not to. Fast breaks, they didn't have any fast breaks, quite honestly. And of course, the turnovers were not that great either, to be quite honest. Specifically, Randall himself, basically. Toppin, 2 for 6 field goal range. 3 pointers, 1 for 4. I mean, Randall was 4 out of 15. Brunson 7 out of 20, Hart 5 out of 12, and Barrett 5 out of 16 as well too. I mean, honestly, it's one of those things where this was. I wanted to say this was not a case where like they didn't want to go for the easy baskets. They were like, I mean, yeah, they were working hard for those baskets, but at the same time, there were times where like the lane was open for them and they could have driven and just like gotten it easy. I wish Rose could have played. I think he could have been somewhat of a catalyst, quite honestly. Uh, I don't think Jeffries was needed at that point, or nor McBride. Quite honestly, McBride and Jeffries, he could have benched them and like brought in Rose and Fernie. I mean, Fernie, granted, he's in the doghouse, but these two at least could have maybe sparked something. Quite honestly, even though it's been a while for them that since they played. Um, I'm not second guessing Thibodeau, but it's more of a case where like I think the players themselves were just going for those threes. Based on the stats of what happened in game two, I think they were just too reliant on the threes. And when in reality, they should be getting those easy baskets a lot, specifically in the paint. They need to go into the paint, drive in more. Barrett was not doing that as much. At the opening of the second half, Barrett was aggressive. That was great, but not landing, unfortunately. So I think the Miami Heat know what to do, basically. Let Brunson try and breach it, but, like, let Brunson score. It doesn't matter. But in reality, like, all you got to do is shut out Randall and Barrett, and then you're good at that point. Honestly, no one else showed up in this game. It's kind of a surprise that Thibodeau didn't bench at this point. He should have benched him. But I think that was a one-time thing only gamble at that time when he benched Randall in the Cleveland Cavaliers game. Now, let's not take anything away from Miami, of course. Jimmy Butler, amazing what he did. I mean, quite honestly, he had free throw wise, I mean, like he only missed one free throw, quite honestly, at the line 11 times and only missed one of them. 9 for 21. 3 pointers, he knew he didn't need to do that. And the other second highest scorers, of course, Adebayo and Struss. I mean, Struss, I don't know where he came from, out of nowhere. And then, of course, there was Kevin Love. I mean, Kevin Love, it wasn't a case of him scoring, but it was him of being on that defensive presence, basically. Um, yeah, if the Knicks keep playing like this, of course, don't expect them to win. Do not I mean, I'll say this. Coming out of game 4, the person that should be driving the scoring at that point, not it shouldn't be Brunson. It should be Barrett. Once Barrett's rolling, the others roll at that point as well too. With Brunson, if he's rolling and the other two aren't, the Knicks lose. The Knicks basically need a Barrett to show up. He's got to be scoring. He's got to drive it. He's got to slash into the line, drive into the line, whatever it may be. But stop shooting those 3 pointers. You could do them at the end of, like towards when they're like having a 10-point lead or something like that. But when you're down, you're chasing. If you're chasing, go for the easy buckets, basically, man. Come on, go for the easy buckets. I think, this series for the Knicks, it doesn't stop or depend on Brunson. It depends on Barrett. Randall could be in and out. I don't think that's a big issue. It depends on Barrett, because once Barrett's hot, then the other two can easily get the buckets much more easily. It's a matter of all they got to do is double team Brunson, and the other two, if they can't get the buckets in, then they don't have to worry. Same thing with Toppin. If Thibodeau can put Toppin in a little bit more often, I think that would help the Knicks out considerably at that point as well too. Honestly, I hate to say this, but maybe sit Randall out for one game. Just sit him out for one game. I know it's a bad idea, but at the same time, you need to do something. You need to shake up this team a little bit, wake them up. Start Toppin instead of Randall. Let Randall come off the bench. quite honestly as well too with uh, start Rose as well too, and bring Fournier back, bring those two back. And I hate to say this, but like Bros at least can play defensively. I mean, he might have lost a step here and there with the offensive perspectives, but defensively he can still work it out, like Emmanuel Quickly and Grimes. Same with Fournier. Fournier, he might not be great on the 3 point line, 3 pointers, but at the same time, he can still be the catalyst at that point as well too. So, um, I'm not sure what to say about that. To be quite honest, I mean, look at it this way: the Lakers, the same thing basically. If you saw my other my prior video as well too with the Lakers, it's one of those things where the Lakers, if AD's on a roll and he's hot, the Lakers win. So everything is revolving around AD. Everyone's saying no, it's got to be James, LJ, yeah, LeBron. But in reality, LeBron can have 50 points, but if AD's not doing anything, the Lakers are losing. So I think it's more of a case where like, and I think they realize it now that they've got to get AD into the beginning of the game and like start feeding him the basket immediately. Once you feed him the basket, he'll be able to push it out. And like D'Angelo Russell was getting those shots because they were double teaming AD. So the double team AD, D'Angelo and LeBron can start scoring away at that point too. But that's something that's I think. Well, no, I think everyone's already saying this as well too. Like keep it if you get AD in the game. If AD's in it, not in it, but if he's hot, you win. If he's not, yeah. So I think even Golden State's aware of that. And the thing is, Golden State, this was very uncharacteristic of them, quite honestly, for tonight's game. Very, very uncharacteristic. Two technical fouls, two flagrant fouls. I mean, honestly, it was like something that this was like it seemed like there was a lot of frustration on their part for some reason or another. Something must have happened in practice right before the game or something because they were getting frustrated left and right, or something must have been said to them that got them frustrated and like agitated or whatever it may be. So, but like I said, with the Lakers, it comes down to AD. If he's on, then the Lakers win, and if the Lakers win, they win the series most likely. But if the Golden State Warriors can play good defense like Green, if he can do that again, Klay Thompson comes back and starts playing again, starts shooting his threes, the Golden State Warriors win. All they need to do is shut out AD as well too. To be quite honest, in any case, to the Knicks themselves, basically, it's one of those things where if the Knicks can't get Barrett to start early or start scoring early by driving in, not shooting those damn threes, but driving into the lane, getting those buckets, the Knicks are not going to win the series. They're going to lose it in 5 or 6, most likely. They're going to lose it in 6 if Barrett is not involved as much into the scoring with the Knicks, especially in the first quarter. Everyone's saying no, it's got to be Brunson. Brunson can be, but if they double team him and Randall and Barrett can actually get the balls in the bucket, then it makes no difference. So, and Mitch Robinson as well too. Robinson has to get involved. Defensively, he's great, but he's got to score at least more than 2 points. He's got to get at least a minimum of 8 to 10 points. If he can get those 8 to 10 points, I think that also helps him out dramatically as well too. Of course, let's not forget that both Randall and Robinson were in foul trouble in the first half as well. So let's not forget that. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Again, as I've mentioned in all my channels, please leave a comment. I do read my comments and respond to them. If you think the Knicks will, let me know what you think. Do you think the Knicks will win or lose this series? Do you think the Knicks will win in Game 4? Do you think Barrett is key to the Knicks winning the series? Or do you think it's more of a case where it gets more of Brunson and Randall? And do you think, can the Knicks contain Butler, for that matter, and everyone else? As well as the factors like, do you agree? I don't think you can disagree or agree about the AD aspect. Anthony Davis with the Lakers, but quite honestly, everyone knows it. It's been proven. It's been shown. You could see it statistically speaking from every game that they played. If AD's not there, if he's not showing up, the Lakers lose. So with that, I'll leave it at that. And if you enjoy my content and enjoy my channel, or even this channel for this video for that matter, and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I do like to want to eventually start collaborating with my subscribers, creating a sort of a one-on-one, or not one-on-one, but more of like a sort of group or going live together type of thing, basically, to discuss stuff like, it's a type of Zoom thing, basically, that we can just do. Of course, my channel, my videos, a little too early to say. I mean, I am still relatively early with my channel. I don't do as much fancy editing. Maybe I'll eventually do that, but in reality, I think it's more of a case of I'm going to just leave it sort of like as though it was live. That's my thing, basically. I'd like to keep my videos raw and live, basically. With it, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and unrehearsed. Until next time.